Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about one of the AWS service, RDS. Here we are going to learn what is RDS and where we are going to use this RDS. Everything we are going to discuss in detail in this session. Let us understand what do you mean by RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database Service. In the name itself suggests it is going to provide the database service to us. So what we can do with the help of database service? For example, if you want to run any kind of application, for any kind of application, the database plays very crucial and important role. Why? Because of all the application related data is going to save on the database only. Without database, we can't be able to run the application. So that's why, because of it is going to hold the entire application data, we need to maintain highly available, highly secureable, and we just need to continuously update to the recent patches whenever it is required. So we need to maintain very securely because of it is going to hold the application data. If anything happened to the database, no user will be able to access the data from the application. So that's why we need to take more precautions while we creating or while we running the database services. Fine. And here, what are the different types of services which has been provided with RDS, and what are the advantages if I am going to use the RDS? Everything we are going to discuss in detail. Here, the advantages which I have got by using this RDS is it is a pay-as-you model. Whatever the service I had used in this RDS, I am going to pay for that particular service only. And the security and patching has been provided from the AWS. By default, the security has been provided by the AWS only, and continuous patching securities. Whenever any patching is required in order to improve the efficiency, in order to improve the security, the AWS is continuously releasing patches to the servers which we are going to run over the RDS. And automated backup means I am going to set some lifecycle, means snapshot, as you hear about the snapshot. What is the purpose of snapshot? In order to take the backup of a server. In the similar way, for the RDS servers also, we are going to take the backup. Whenever any kind of issue happen or failure happen, immediately with the help of backup, I can be able to create the same database engine with the same properties because of I have the backup with me. And software updates for the DB engine. Generally, we have the DB engines. Like if you think about the architecture, how the architecture lies like that. Generally, we have the database servers. Database servers are nothing but EC2 servers. The database servers consists of database engine. The database engine or variety types of database engine service has been provided by the AWS. Let us understand what are the different types of database engines has been provided by the AWS. Just log on into the RDS service. Right now, I just made login into the AWS console and click on RDS. Otherwise, you have the universe search bar is there. Just type RDS. Then you will be redirected to the Relational Database Service. Firstly, it is going to show you the database instances. By default, you will be able to create 40 DB instances per account. If you want to extend it further, then you can extend based on your requirement. Just click on here, database instances. Right now, there are no database instances which are running on my RDS service. Just click on create database. So it is going to open the things. So here choose a database creation method. So how you want to create? You want to create each and everything by doing the customization, or simply it is going to, if you click on click easy, create easy, it is going to make easy. What are the things, it is going to provide some basic options. By selecting that basic option, automatically entire backend will be taken by this option. But if I want to set up each and everything through customization, I am going to select the standard create. And if you observe here, we have 8 database engines has been provided by the RDS service. The first one is Aurora MySQL compatible, Aurora PostSQL compatible, MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, Oracle DB, and Microsoft SQL Server, and the IBM DB2. These are the different types of DB engines which are available in the RDS. So based on your requirement or based on your organization requirement, you are going to select that particular SQL service in order to run your application. So in my scenario, if I want to go with, I'm going to select MySQL. Okay, generally majority of the organizations are also using the MySQL only. Fine. So here, while I'm selecting the MySQL, I just want to provide some high availability. As you know, how we can be able to provide the high availability? By selecting the multi-ACs. If I am going to select the multi-ACs, what it is going to do? It is going to create multiple DB instances or the multiple availability zones. If one of the DB went down in the one of the availability zone, it is not going to impact my organization or application. It is automatically shifted to the database instance which is available in the another region. This is nothing but high availability. Fine. What are the things we can take as a cloud engineer or the DevOps engineer? What we can do? What we are doing in this part? So the database activities has been taken by the database administrator. But what is our part? Here our part is to create the database instance and provide the highly reliable, highly securable, highly available DB servers, and at the same time, whenever any updates are required, we only take care about that updates, security things, and at the same time, we need to make the database performance good. So everything we need to take care. So as we are going to create the platform for the database administrators, once we had created each and everything, the further things regarding database insertion of data, modification of data, what are the things which they can be do on the data, they can be able to do that, the database administrator. But the creation of database engine need to take care by the SRE or DevOps engineer or cloud engineer. Fine. So licensing. Suppose you have already hold some license. If you want to use the existing license in the AWS cloud, is that possible? Yes, obviously that's possible. That will be called as bring your own license, BYOL. If you have existing license, you can use the existing license by creating the server in the AWS RDS service. That is also possible. And coming to the storage, the Amazon RDS uses EBS volumes for database and log storage. We have two options in instance storages in RDS. Like if you're going to choose the general purpose, the minimum is 20 GB and the maximum is 16,384 GB. And if you are selecting the provisional IOPS, it is generally used for the high performance applications. And the minimum is 100 GB and the maximum is 65,536 GB. So in this way, you can be able to select the EBS volumes. Let us understand in detail while we are doing the practical session. As I already selected the standard create, here I am going to select the database engine as MySQL. Calm down. Here you just need to select the which version you are looking for. Here based on your requirement, based on the compatibility of your application, you are going to select the particular version which you have the requirement. Here I am going to select MySQL 8.0.332 because of generally while we are working in an organization, every organization is not at all adopting the recent releases because of there is a chances there will be bugs in that recent versions. So that's why it is always chosen n-1, means what are the previous version is there before the current version, it is going to adapt to that particular version. Just remember that in any organization they are following some same version only. In some case, in some organization, it is going to follow n-2, n-3 as well. So based on the scenarios, based on the severity of the application. Okay, right now I had choose the engine version as well and templates. Here it is asking you for which purpose you are going to create. Is it for production purpose or is it for dev test environment or it is for free tier eligible? Generally in real-time environment, you have the three environments. You have the dev environment, you have the test environment, you have the production environment and free tier as well. Suppose if you are doing for lab purpose, you can select the free tier. But the most of the options are not visible when you are using the free tier because of the AWS is not at all costing so that's why the AWS is not providing all the properties which is available in the RDS service because of it is free tier eligible. Suppose if it is not a cost matter, then you can select the production. Then availability. Here you want a single DB instance. If you are using some test application, you can use a single DB instance. But if you want some medium range application, you can select multi-AZ DB instance. And if you want to deploy, if you are using high transactional web application which is in the production environment, then you can choose the multi-AZ DB cluster. In the name itself suggests single DB it is going to create a single DB instance. Multi-AZ DB instance means it is going to create multiple instances over the multiple availability zones. And here multi-AZ DB cluster it is going to create cluster level. But right now, as I'm going to create for the test purpose and it is for lab purpose, so that's why I'm going to select single DB instance, that is fulfill my requirement. And here it is asking you database instance identifier, means here I'm going to mention the database instance name. As I told to you, we have the database server. Inside of the database server, what we have? Database engine. So right now I'm going to set the name of the database server. It is database 1, and it is going to ask you the username and password. This is for what? In order to log on into the database server. Here by default I'm going to provide admin, and password I'm going to self manage. So I'm going to set the password. So you just need to very strong. Okay. 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 Fine. Then instance configuration. Here you just need to select which instance type you want to do that. So here I am going to select the DB M5 large. It is going to provide 2 virtual CPUs and 8 GB RAM. So that's enough. The password is invalid. So maybe what happened? Don't match. It is not going to match. Okay. So I'm going to enter it once again. Okay. You just need to set some strong password. Otherwise it is not going to accept. Okay. Fine. So the password didn't match. Why it is not accepting the password? At least 8 printable ASCII characters. Okay. So I am going to set the password. Oh, I need to. Fine. So here I am going to select the DB. Okay, storage type. I am going to select the IO1 or IO2 if my application is high transactional application, and here the allocated space is 100 GB is required. That's enough from my end. So it is going to provide the 3000 IOPS and connectivity. So if you want to choose whether to set up the connection to the compute resource for this database, yes. Don't set up a connection to compute resource for this database. You can manually set up a connection to compute resource later. Fine. I'm going to continue with the same, and the network type is IPv4. Here I am going to create the database server, means database server in the default VPC, because of as I don't have the custom VPC which I had created. If you have any custom VPC, then you can select your custom VPC. But right now I don't have custom VPC, so that's why I am going to create the database server in the default VPC only, and the DB subnet as usual in the default VPC only, and public access. Generally, are we providing the public access to the database servers? Yes or no? No, definitely no, because of for app server or for DB servers we are not at all supposed to provide the public access. Only web servers will be able to hit the public traffic. Other than that, no servers will be able to get the public address, public access. Okay, so by default I am going to select the no. And VPC firewall group. So whatever the existing VPC have the VPC security group setting, the same will be used for this database server only, because of I am going to create the database server inside of VPC. So that's why whatever the security settings that particular VPC will have, the same will be applicable to the database server which I had created inside of that particular VPC. Okay, the default VPC, or you can select any, if you have any existing security group, you can select it. And availability zone, I am going to select 1 year availability zone. And if you want to certificate, you can add the certificate. And additional configuration, it is going to allow 3306 port. 3306 port is the MySQL port which must and should need to be open. If we are not able to open this port, means we can't be able to access the MySQL server. 3306 is the MySQL port number. And password authentication here, okay. And retention period, so that is a free 7 days free retention period. And additional, click on additional configuration, granularity. For every second it is going to check your health of the DB server. And here if you click on the additional configuration, here you just need to database name. The database name is DB1. It is the database name. And here retention period is 7 days. Means up to 7 days we have the continuous backups. If I am going to select how many backups I need in 1 day, suppose for example I had take one backup for 1 day, a daily morning 5 AM. It is going to take the backup. So on daily it is going to, by every morning by 5 AM it is going to take the backup of my database. So it is available for the 7 days. If it is exceeding the 7 days, the first snapshot which has been taken, that will went off. Okay, hope you guys understood. And backup window, if you want to set any kind of backup window, you can set this. On daily you have some backup window, otherwise you can select no. Generally what we will select, yes, we can select the backup window on daily basis, like where I am going to select, so early morning 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Half an hour I am going to set the maintenance window. And backup replication, enable replication in another AWS region. If I want to make my DB instance as a backup, because of it is high transactional web application and I just want any downtime for this. So if you want to, if your scenario is like that, you can click here. Accordingly, the same whatever the settings which I had selected here, in the similar way it is going to replicate in another AWS region other than this region. Whenever due to some issue, if it is went totally down, no issue. It is, we can be able to run from that particular region. Just come down and log exports. You can click here. What is the audit logs, error logs, general logs, everything you can, and maintenance window, everything. So if you click on create database, the database instance cost is $124.83 and the storage cost is $12.54 and the provisional IOPS is $300. Totally you just need to pay the $437.33. Okay, and suppose if you click on create, it is going to take some time, but surely it will be created. And at the same time I have some tools like SQL egg tool or MySQL bench. By using these tools I can be able to connect to the database engine. Just click on create, here new connection name, okay, and here you just need to paste the host name address, and here I need to mention admin. Okay, the password I am going to provide. So with the help of this tool we can be able to connect to the database engine which we had created. Okay, yes, this is all about RDS. Hope you guys understood. And this is RDS is very much costlier. So if you had created for testing purpose, make sure you just need to delete while you done with your laptop. Without deleting, it is costing you huge amount of charges. It is not at all, it is in the dollars only. Remember, the charges will be in the dollars only. Means if we convert into our currency, that will be a huge amount for us. So that's why I'm asking you guys, please make sure once you're done with your lab, make sure you just need to delete all the stuff which you had created over the cloud. If you are not able to do that, then you will fall into trouble. Okay, guys? Then thank you so much, guys, for joining into my session, and please subscribe my channel and share with your friends who is looking towards DevOps or cloud technologies. And again, thank you so much, guys, and I will meet up you in the next session with a new topic. Until signing off, thank you. Bye bye.